This is Jim with Perfect Fitting Shoes, and we are proud to present this video showing the process of making some of the samples from our new line of moccasin-inspired exotic skin shoes. These shoes are being made here in Mexico at a factory that specializes in making direct injection polyurethane sole shoes. If you have any questions or any comments, please check us out on perfectfittingshoes.com, or you can check us out on Facebook and YouTube under our name Perfect Fitting Shoes. This month we'll also be found at Indiegogo.com under our trade name Perfect Fitting Shoes, since we'll be doing crowdsourced funding. We look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Here you see an antique lizard exotic skin shoe on an aluminum mold at the factory. The mold is being adjusted so that the shoe fits exactly in the cavity, so that there will not be any problems when they inject the polyurethane foam into the aluminum mold. These exotic skins are imported from Indonesia, and we have the CITES permits that allow us to export them to anywhere in the world. This particular pair of shoes looks great in contrast to the brushed aluminum mold that it sits upon. We did 5 different pairs of the exotic skins in this production run of samples. Here's the mold cavity open. Those are a pair of black exotic skin lizard. You can see them sitting on the top of the support pod before it goes down and mates against the aluminum mold. These shoes are manufactured using the Strobel method of construction. Here's a little bit better close-up view of the shoe as it's on the post. Here the technician is spraying a Teflon type chemical on the molds. This will allow the molds to release and the sole to break away from the molds, and there will not be any adhesion, no sticking to the aluminum molds when the soles are released out of the mold. Without this spray, the soles will not come out clean. Here you can see the injector head coming down the line, injecting polyurethane into some earlier molds on the assembly. The injector head will release in a few seconds. There it is, releasing from the mold as it moves down the assembly line. There it is, moving to the next mold. The nozzle extends into the mold cavity, filling up the mold cavity with the polyurethane foam. As the foam expands inside the mold, it fills up the cavity, creating the sole. And there's the machine detaching from the mold, going to the next mold. The injector head attaching to the mold, injecting the foam before releasing and going to the next cavity. Here's a tighter view. Injector head attaching to the mold. And there's the bottom of the mold pushing up to lock the mold in place. When everything's going smoothly, this machine can produce 6 pairs of shoes in 5 minutes. And there's the mold locking up. And the machine going back to its original position. If you look at the mold on the right, you can see a little bit of black coming out from the center of the mold, and that's the polyurethane polyurethane foam that's seeping out between the joints. Here's the technician releasing the mold, opening up the mold cavity, and you can see the finished shoe. He peels away some of the excess polyurethane, and he raises the pods, releases the last from the pod, and he does a quick inspection. Does the same for this one and goes to the next mold. Here he is releasing these molds, raising the pods, releasing the shoe or the last from the pod, and doing an inspection, making sure the mold is completely filled. If they don't fill up the mold completely, then they have problems. Here I am inspecting the shoes after they were poured. They still haven't been trimmed, but I'm looking to make sure that the soles look complete and all the sides are completely full. We spent a fair amount of money for the hide, so I didn't want to make any mistakes, because if there were mistakes, they would be very expensive. When they're making polyurethane direct injected soles, they really can't do a makeover. It's a one-shot deal. If there are any problems in the injection process where the mold isn't completely filled, then that's a shoe that has to be thrown away. And if it's a python or lizard or ostrich shoe, it's an expensive investment to be thrown away. So needless to say, I was very anxious in inspecting these to make sure that everything came out looking good. Tearing away some of the excess splash from the polyurethane foam. And everything looks good with those three shoes. Unfortunately, the factory had problems with one of the mold cavities filling correctly, so they're going to have to reshoot one of the antique silver lizard shoes. Here's the shoe being readjusted or reset in the mold. They had to take the prior injected sole and grind it off, and now here it is on top of the pod, set in the mold. And here's the production manager inspecting to try and make sure that the adjustments are just right so that they don't have another problem with the second shot. In order to get the other PU, polyurethane, off the shoe, they had to use a grinding machine and grind it off. And now we are waiting to see how the results come out on this last injection. Here he's spraying the molds with the release chemical, and he's shutting up one of the molds, and he's shutting up the other mold. For this last injection run, they will actually inject polyurethane into a mold cavity that has no shoe on top, and it's pretty neat. You can watch what happens as it fills up the mold. And here comes the injector head for one last shot. Here you can see the injector head stopping in front of the empty mold, injecting the mold with the polyurethane foam. In a few moments you'll see the mold fill up. You'll see a black glow of polyurethane foam rising. There it goes, as it fills up the mold. When the PU foam comes out of the injector heads, it comes out at about 120 degrees Celsius, which is about 248 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty hot. And there's the injector head releasing from the mold. And now it's going back to its original position. And here's the production manager testing the PU foam. It's hot, but he's not touching a lot of it. There you can see the other mold and the PU foam bouncing as I push down on it. It's hot. I was burning my fingers, but it wasn't that hot by this time. So So with the mold on top of it, all that foam that's on excess gets filled into the cavity, so it's a lot denser. There you can see me pushing more onto the mold, or onto the piece, so there's a lot of bounce to it. So just imagine walking on these. Here they are taking the mold, then releasing the sole from the mold. And here's the million-dollar question: how does the sole look on this shoe? Pulling away the flashing. Here I am inspecting the shoe. Excluding the flashing, the sole looks good. The only thing is they made a problem when they were grinding off the old PU, because as they were grinding the old polyurethane away, they ended up grinding away some of the exotic leather from the lizard skin. So this would not be a sellable shoe, but for the sample, it was a workable model. Now we end this video showing you what it looks like to inject the polyurethane sole on a pair of natural python skin leather shoes. The finished shoe was wonderful. It's an extremely comfortable shoe. The leather is super soft and supple. And here you can see the mold closing down. But because the shoe's expensive, they wanted to make sure everything was adjusted just right. Because these shoes will retail for around $900. So if they're not done right, that'll be an expensive shoe that the factory has to throw away. Here's a close-up view from a different angle. Here the camera zooming in. In another video, you can see me wearing these shoes. Mold opening, doing some minor adjustments, making sure everything's adjusted correctly. Mold closing up, clamping down around the shoe. Adjusting the front, making sure it's at the right pitch angle. And the production manager giving his final approval, because ultimately it's his responsibility to make sure these samples are done correctly. I'm sorry we ran out of footage. I can't find it on my hard drive, so this is the end of the video. You can see the finished shoes on another video here at YouTube. If you have any questions or any comments, please check us out at perfectfittingshoes.com or on Facebook under Perfect Fitting Shoes or YouTube under Perfect Fitting Shoes. Starting this month, you can see us on Indiegogo.com under Perfect Fitting Shoes, since we will be doing some crowdsourced funding to get the company started and up and running. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.